Hey everybody, Chad Wesley Smith here, bringing you part 2 in our series, Pillars of Great Bench Technique. If you haven't checked out part 1, covering foot position and foot pressure, make sure to do so. Today we are going to be addressing upper back position and how to lock the upper back in for a great setup. I am joined by IPF World Champion, IPF World Record Holder, 3-time USAPL Champion and American Record Holder in the bench, deadlift, and total. I said world record holder in the total too, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and world record holder in the total. Miss Marissa, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good.
So it's critical to, the first step that's going to be critical for the good upper back position and utilizing the upper back properly in the bench press is scapular control. Demonstrating scapular control is not only going to be critical to maximizing how much weight you can lift, but also prolonging, creating longevity in the bench press by keeping your shoulder healthy. If you can't properly retract and depress the shoulder blades, and benching with a flat back and the shoulder is not going to be stabilized, it's going to lead to shoulder pain and possibly injury at some point. So we want to not just maximize the amount of weight that you can lift, but also make sure that you're staying healthy while you can do it, so you can do what you enjoy for a long time. The first part of showing scapular control is the ability to properly retract the scapula. So Marissa is going to pull her shoulder blades together. Really easy cue as a coach is just to say to pinch my fingers, put them right between the shoulder blades, and pinch the fingers. Now what we want to do from here is to depress the scapula as well, to pull them down. And a common mistake that would be made would be elevating the scapula, so where they come together and up, and everything's up here in the upper trap. And that can lead to various problems, technical problems, or maybe you're touching too high on the chest, as well as shoulder health problems and a lot of front delt or bicep tendon pain. So we need to ensure that the scapula come together, retract, and then depress. When you do this properly, you should feel a lot of tension right here in the mid back, kind of the bottom of the upper back, higher part of the mid back, right where the lower traps are. So now we're going to go over 2 exercises to help you improve your scapular mobility and control: wall slides and IYTs. As we begin to warm up our shoulders for the bench press, we want to make sure that the musculature of our upper back is warm and facilitated, that our shoulders can articulate through a full range of motion, so we're able to press the heaviest weight possible, while also keeping our shoulders healthy. So the first exercise that Marissa is going to demonstrate are wall slides. For wall slides, you want to stand maybe 6 to 8 inches away from the wall. Put the edge of your palm against the wall, pushing into the wall as you slide your hands up the wall. And then for a little bit of an extra range of motion at the finish of the movement, you're going to lean into the wall. And also focus on maintaining at neutral rib position, ribs down, rib cage and pelvis aligned throughout. You don't want to get into a lot of extension at the top, at the end of the movement, because we want the range of motion to come from the shoulder, not from extending the lumbar spine. The next part of our bench press warm-up is a drill called IYTs. IYTs, you're going to lay prone on an inclined bench, letting the arms hang down, and we're just going to make these letters with the arms. So first, I, straight out in front of the body. You can either go thumbs up or palms down, whatever is more comfortable to you there. Then come back down. We're going to go to Y, which is out at a 45-degree angle with the thumb up. Here. And then finally T, straight out to the side with the palms down. Every letter that you go through, you want to make sure that you're having a distinct squeeze of the shoulder blades, the scapula together for like a 1 count at the top of every rep. Let's go one more time for each letter. I, straight out in front. Y at a 45-degree angle. And T, straight out to the side. Again, make sure to squeeze the shoulder blades at the top of every movement. For a beginner, body weight, no additional weight should be needed, but if you want to, you could add maybe 2.5 or 5 pound weights in your hands. So now that you've improved your scapular mobility and control with the wall slides and IYTs, now we can look at how the upper back's really going to act as you set up and ways to improve its tightness through the setup. So optimal bench position is going to allow the athlete to be as high on their traps as possible. So as Marissa sets up here, this is a really good drill to do things with. If you do a glute bridge on the bench, that gives some space for you to be able to retract and depress the shoulder blades. Allows Marissa to really feel the weight up on her traps. And then from here, as she walks her feet down, trying to maintain that upper back tension. Getting whole foot pressure, knee below the hip, just like we talked about in part 1 of the video. And notice how she uses the rack. This is, kind of like a bit of a pro tip here, to use the rack to push your shoulders slightly towards your butt a little bit more. And you can see, kind of do that move again, like to walk your scapula into place as she sets right scapula, left scapula, and walks her shoulder blades down the bench to ensure a tighter, more locked in position. Once she's achieved this position and unracks the bar, whether you're doing a self handoff or taking a handoff, it's critical to bring the bar just out. You don't want to bring it up and out, as bringing the bar up and out would likely cause her to lose that great tight upper back position. And from this point, the weight is really going to be locking that down in a position. So keeping as high on your traps as possible, keeping the chest as high as possible throughout the lift, scapula retracted and depressed. And again, as we mentioned from part 1 in this series, great pressure through the whole foot with the knee below the hip. All right, so that is the upper back position for the bench press. Again, we're looking for retracted and depressed scapula. Very good drill is to do a glute bridge on the bench so you can really feel the weight in your traps. An optimal setup is going to have you feeling 100% in your traps and your glutes, maybe very light in the glutes, or just a small part of the glutes touching. But when you do that glute bridge, it allows you to feel the weight on your traps and then walk your feet down in a position while maintaining that pressure. Then you can use the rack for a bit of bracing as you walk your scapula down towards your hips for an even tighter position. Try the drills, wall slides, and IYTs to improve scapular mobility and control, and then you'll be having a great looking bench setup like Marissa, and everyone on the internet can tell you that you're cheating. So this is part 2 in our series of Pillars of Great Bench Technique. Make sure you check out part 1, subscribe to the channel, and look for the upcoming 3 more parts. Get expert program design, video analysis,